Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everybody to the live stream again. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Shout out to the NTZ crew. I know y'all on here. Really appreciate it. Jacob Tanjay and Michael Beecher Life. Shout out to all my fourth quarter members. I'm gonna have a members only live stream on Monday morning. What's up, Jeffrey Tatter? Appreciate, man, all your support over the years, brother. I mean that. With all my fourth quarter members. What's up, Doubtful Genius? All my old heads. Thank y'all for y'all support. Any new viewers and subscribers with us for the first time today, welcome. And anybody catching this on replay, what's up, Don? Don Ridgway is my buddy from Kentucky. Originally, I believe, Springfield. But he's by way of Louisville. Thank you, man. I'm on here a little early today because we've got something to do later on, and I wanted to get back on schedule. Marco Smith, what's up? Yeah, I wanted to get back on schedule. Sonny D, what's up? Rohan Davis. The peso is 55.8. It's inched back up just a little bit. I think it was 55.73 the last time I was on here. You know, I'm not going to complain about that. What's up, Thomas Marshall? He said, you up early, Cal. Yeah, we got something to do. I wasn't going to be here 9:30. I wanted to get back on schedule. You know, whoever's here, we're going to do it. The legend of Alexander, he said, what's up? I was just in the Philippines for 21 days last month. Changed a lot, he said. Females become very westernized and transactional. Well, some of them. I got to agree with you, some of them. But remember, we're still on planet Earth. The legend of Alexander. And a lot of that falls on our shoulders. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, you know, because my buddy, Lebanon, Kentucky. I'm sorry, Don Ridgway. What's up, Hayden? And welcome to the chat. I know you're getting married. Your wedding's coming up. Congratulations on that. And he can bear witness. There's still a lot of good women left over here. You know, a lot of times we got to take the blame, guys. We do a lot of damage over here. We bring our Western thinking over here. But there's still a lot of women left. I wouldn't give up on the Philippines. What's up, Ryan? He said, what time is it in the Philippines? It's 7:02 a.m. What's up, Cisco? I came on at 7. But y'all know we always got a title, man. This is interesting because I want to talk about this today. More so the topic, because I'm not going to be on here long, but the cost of living and other perks Westerners ignore while living in a developing country. Even though the Philippines is a little bit above a developing country, I believe they call it an emerging market. It's somewhere like Brazil, South Africa. But y'all know what I'm saying. It's a lot of things that we don't even take advantage of over here. We just come over here. We just bring ourselves over here. And that's it. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But I did want to, I got a lot of comments on the husband who caught his Filipino wife in bed with her lover. And all hell broke loose. What's up, the Dre Diggity Show? What's up? You know, come to find out, she was dealing with 3 different men. And he said he found some freak offs on her phone. So, you know, she was for the streets to begin with, I guess. You know, But that's a direct result of us not getting to know the women. When you even think about, see, here's how crazy, think about how crazy this is for everybody. Because you hear it all the time when you say, oh man, I'm trying to go through the visa process. They'll say, oh, it's so long. Man, it's no longer than a year. That's nothing. You know how many refugees and other people around the world who would love to just wait 1 year to step over in America? But we think, oh, that's long. No, no, no. That's going to give you a year to vet the woman. See, it's a big step, man, when you do that visa, because once you do it and they'll prove it, you can't turn back that clock. She's coming. And when she comes there, she's going to have rights, protections, and privileges just like you. You better make sure you got the right woman. But we'll say, oh, it's too long. It takes too long. No, it don't. It don't take long enough. We're going over here, guys. We're coming over here. We're meeting women for 2 weeks. We think we know them. You don't have no special powers. And then you'll say, oh, well, I'll do the on-the-job training. We'll get to know each other as we go. Don't get in a hurry, man. Don't get in a hurry to bring your woman over here. He said, good morning from H-Town and good news. The fiance is in Manila. She's completed the medical and biometric and has the embassy interview on the 20th. Now, this is a good friend of mine, Monroe. He's the one who gave me the Houston shirt. And, I wish him the best of luck. His situation really mirrors the guy that I'm talking about. I mean, he's making a quick turnaround here, guys. Okay, let's hope it works out for him. He doesn't know who he's bringing over here, but she's unassuming. She's humble. She looks innocent. I met her before. Let's hope that he hits a home run, because a lot of times we do. It's just not in the women, but it's really a chance we're taking, and he's certainly taking. Hey, Rashad Smith, thanks for that super chat. He says, Big Dog Cal, I love it for you that you back. We got to have our bread right to travel and bond with these ladies. I feel for your homie, next pet struck. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something, Rashad. He said she was dealing with 3 men. Just like we can go on that dating site real easy and pull somebody out of there, they think they can too. But the fact that she dealt with 3 tells you that they're not dealing with the same dating pool that we're dealing with, unless she's just a super freak. See, this is what you gotta find out about the lady. Is she a super freak? The older guys, man, we try to act like that part don't matter. Oh, sex don't matter. Bullshit, man. These women are young. They in their prime. You better be able to sling it, man. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Bring a young woman over there like that. Hey, Blizzard Abroad, thanks for that super chat. He says, salute, Brother Cal, the Sunshine Shoulders family. We're going to take our hats off to you, Blizzard Abroad. He recently was I believe were you laid off, or your department was eliminated after 30 years in his industry, guys. This is what happened. This is what's happening right now in our country. But knowing him, I know he's going to fall on his feet. But I stopped by your live stream yesterday. I messed with W Secrets because all of a sudden he's a stock expert. I wanted a couple of tips, insider trading tips. He said, "What's up, Blizz?" But yeah, you better be able to. We act like it don't matter. Yeah, it matters. But yeah, he said, yeah, it ended up she was with 3 men. And there's some freak offs on her phone. So let's just hope that he can make it through there. We need to know these women a lot better, man. It's a shame that you got to tell grown men that, but we don't listen. We're in a hurry, boy. We want that woman over there so we can show her off. That's what they want. Well, look what I got. And you can walk around proud in the mall and everything at the park, holding hands. Look at this trophy woman I've got. She's not a modern woman. And you could have the devil on your damn elbow. Russian. Yeah, it's really sad for him because these are good guys. These are guys that they're doing everything right. I mean, it's really a woman's dream on those dating sites. A lot of them, that's their ultimate goal, is to get that visa. How many times do I got to say that we give a visa away? This is a life changer. You can't even put a price on a visa. People are laying down their lives for that visa. Yeah, they're dying. They're going to jail, getting locked up, getting killed. But we'll give it away like it's nothing. It has no value to us because it comes to us at birth. Guys, take your time before you hand that most valuable commodity probably on the planet right now. You just give it away for nothing, man. For a roll in the hay. Think before y'all do that, guys. We can talk about this all day long. You know, get over here and kind of understand who you're dealing with. But not only that, give her the opportunity to learn who you are. You just never know. That's the problem. We don't know each other. She don't know you. Because eventually what's going to happen in that year that you think you should at least take a year. That's the least. And go back and forth. If you can't go back and forth, I wouldn't even consider it. I wouldn't consider it. Somebody's going to tell something. Oh, I'll be damned if I didn't. Okay, good. You're going to learn something that you need to learn. Hey, Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, what are ages of the husband and wife? He should have put that Viagra on her. Well, he's only 52, man. She's 32. That's not bad. But there were some red flags there he overlooked that people don't want to look at. We fall in love so fast, man. Most of the women you're going to meet over here, Sonny D, are probably, some of the most humble women you've ever met. They're really good women. It's not in them to use you, but in our quest to get them over to our country so fast, we make mistakes. We miss just flashing red lights, and it ends up costing us. She was with a foreigner before. Man, that's the number one sin you don't want to deal with. We don't even want to talk about that. Some guys like, oh, I don't think that's a big deal. Okay. That's up to you. He said, yeah, you got to take your time in the dating world. You damn right. You better, especially when you're talking about bringing those women over. He said, if it's one I know, men don't keep up with themselves. What do you mean? Explain that to us. What are you talking about? I don't understand. He said, Mama used to say, take your time, young man. Yeah, I was in the service. I was stationed in Memphis, Tennessee when that was out. They used to jam off that. But we ain't going to do it. You know, a lot of us, we're lonely, man. We haven't had that kind of attention, certainly the kind of loving that they're going to put on you to convince you that they're the right one, that it's okay to bring them to your country or whatever it is she's trying to get. But you're not going to know until she's arrived. Not just in your country, but until she's where she's trying to go. They all have a mission. The ones that are online, okay? Remember I told you about my wife? That's why she wanted to go back home. Okay, her mission was not complete. She wanted to go back to America. When I brought her over here in 2018, her family probably looked at her like, what is wrong with you? You made it out. Get out of here. Oh, he needs a break. A break? You know, they don't understand our problems are not their problems. Okay? And they're on a mission. Oh, okay, he said keeping in shape. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yesterday, man, was my first day back in the gym. I'm sore, man. I'm sore from my neck to my feet. But once you get in there, man, I really love it. I really love going to the gym. This is the hardest part. It's getting there. So yeah, I'm back in the gym, man. I'm glad. And I think it was Merlin's first day back in a while too. We went back together. Hey, Beverly, she says, Sunshine Show, is there a woman version of you in the Philippines? Would love to hear a woman over there who's retired. Well, there was. Well, there is. Philippine Antics. Philippine Antics. It's an American woman. She's retired, living in the Philippines, and she gives you the nitty gritty. Her and her Filipino husband. But there used to be, I don't know if two retired expats are still on here, but it was a retired American couple, man and wife. They're still here. But Philippine Antics, yeah, you know, she'll give it to you the way it needs to be delivered. And I don't understand if she were to go out on her own and just talk to women who are retired, she would blow up. Okay, I'm gonna put that out there for Philippine Antics. If she just did a channel speaking only to retired women and potential women expats, it's so needed. Everybody's talking to the men over here, Beverly, because it's a big audience, but you can create that space for yourself. There's nobody in that space. And she would be the right one to do it because she's well spoken. She's not afraid to speak her mind. But the market is for men right now. But yeah, Philippine Antics. And she'll help you. What's up, Robert Morris? Good to see you. Hey, I almost forgot, guys. Look, the meet and greet is May 31st, Saturday, May 31st, right here in San Carlos City at Carmel's Inn and Restaurant. Their brand new wing. Now, if you need a place to stay, they've got rooms. I put it on my community page. I'm going to put it again this one day this week. And we're going to have a good time, man. From 4 to 8. There's always great people that come to those meet and greets. Yeah, they're not. I don't understand what it is with the notifications, JG. They just don't do it. I believe there's a shadow ban on me. But he says, well, he said you really don't know her until y'all live together. And for her to know you that bullshit. Bullshit. It's too late then. You gonna move a crazy ass woman in with you, Ron? Come on, man. You can see red flags. If you 45, 50, 55, 60, you know what crazy looks like. You don't have to move her in. But it's up to y'all. These are the justifications we make for being stupid. You know, people don't give loggers enough credit. We made all the mistakes. You don't have to make them. But y'all won't listen. So, it's going to continue to happen. You're going to continue to come over here. Women going to play the long game on you because you don't even know what you're dealing with. You don't even know the environment they're coming out of. That's important, don't you think? That you want to know, well, what's her motive? What drives her to want to get involved with me? I'm 62 and she's 32. It's a lot you got to know about the culture. That's what we're going to talk about today. We ignore a lot of the perks and everything associated with living in a place like the Philippines, which the Philippines isn't a developing country. It's an emerging market. It has it's a term that they use that there's countries like South Africa, Brazil, there's a few more of them. It's in between a developing country and a developed country. Somebody look that up for us because I'm on my phone today. But we ignore a lot of stuff. The first one is cost of living. Yeah, the lower cost of living, we don't take advantage of it over here. My buddy Angelo Habib, I'm gonna miss Angelo, man. We got a lot in common. But I understand him. He's got children. His parents are still alive. He's going back to Canada. I don't know if it's for good or not, but I know he misses them, But he told me something. He said, my budget's the same here, Cal, as it is in my country. And he lives in Canada. Imagine that. Because he's just not going to sacrifice anything. So we don't really take advantage of the lower cost of living here. We want what we want when we want it. And it takes a long time to kind of acclimate to what the Philippines has to offer. You're not going to get off the plane and start, your rent's going to be lower, but you're going to spend some other kind of way. You're going to make up for that some other kind of way. I promise you. What's up, Eric Terry? But we don't take advantage of that lower cost of living. We don't pay our bill. Listen, guys, I promise you, my credit score was about, I believe it was 601 when I got here in 2018. It's 739 right now because I paid off all my bills. I got money in the bank now. I'm not rich, monetarily, but being rich is relevant. It's relative, really. I'm as rich as I've ever been. There's other definitions of rich, but I took advantage. I figured it out a long time ago. I'm like, man, I'm gonna pay off my debts while I'm over here because this is a cash society. I don't have to use the credit cards like I used to in America. I don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. I've got more money than I got bills over here. But what we'll do is we'll spend the extra money. We'll find a way to spend it. It's usually on the woman. Or it's usually trying to show off. Show everybody how much money you got. But the low cost of living is number one. We don't take advantage of that, man. It's a big one. They're literally giving you free money. What's up, TJ? Welcome to the chat. When you get off that plane. When your rent, because I was chatting with a guy today, he said, well, hell, no, he's in the comments. He said his mortgage is $3,000 per month. Imagine going from $3,000 per month, ladies and gentlemen, to a nice condominium over here for $500 per month. That's $2,500 worth of free money. But what we do? We spend it. We find a way to spend it. He said a fool and his money is soon departed. Yeah, that's true. Because if you can't manage money in your home country, when you get off the plane, you still not gonna be able to manage money. If you don't understand physics in America, you're certainly not gonna understand physics in the Philippines. It's a gradual thing, but it's something we don't even take advantage of, man. I mean, man, I'm telling you from experience, guys. It's there. You can wipe out all your debt. Okay, you can put yourself in a good financial situation by living over here. But what's the second thing that we don't take advantage over here? And this is going to shock you, but it shouldn't shock you. Cultural experience. You know, we can immerse ourselves in the culture over here, but we don't do it. We come over here and just want to live a Western lifestyle. You know, we were talking about living in the province the other day and how hard it's going to be. And it is going to be hard in the beginning. And it's going to be, you know, all the inconveniences and stuff. But sometimes, you know, you have to adapt. Adapting is good for us. But that's an extreme example right there. But the cultural experiences, because food is on here too, but that's part of the culture. We don't try to, get to know anything about the Philippines, Thailand. We're strictly caught up in the women part of it and the beaches. But the real cultural education that we could have over here, man, we don't do it. We don't take advantage of it. Hey, Dylan, thanks for that super sticker. Appreciate it. But yeah, the cultural experiences, man. Okay. Here's something else that we don't do. I do it, but we don't do it as a whole. Community engagement, meaning giving back, volunteering. See, people know me here in San Carlos City. There's nowhere I can go here that they don't know me because of community engagement. You know, I'm not going to live my best life when people around me are struggling. I can't help everybody, but that's not going to prevent me from doing what I can. You know, that separates me. This is something I'm proud of, by the way. This is why I started my channel. I had no idea of the Western audience over there. My channel started because I wanted to help Filipinos who were affected by the lockdowns and the pandemic. So I decided that I was going to sacrifice 1,000 pesos out of my savings because my channel wasn't monetized and any of that when I first started out. But that separates me from a lot of these other bigger vloggers. The Western people know them. The Western expats and visitors know them, but Filipinos don't know them. If Paul O'Dog New Tricks came to San Carlos City, they would not know who he was. But when I go to Dumaguete, Filipinos know me. When I go to Cebu, they know me. When I go to Manila, Bacolod, Iloilo, man, that's pinwheel. You know, it's giving back, guys. But we don't do it. We come over here and we do the opposite. We don't have no Filipino friends, okay, nothing. No type of community engagement. And it costs you. He said, do you pay taxes? Absolutely. I pay American taxes. Fool. And what good? Why are you worried about that? This is what I was just talking about the other day. Do I pay taxes? Absolutely, I pay taxes. Why would you worry about that, Michael Parker? This is what we were talking about the other day on my live stream. The scrutiny that vloggers over here go under. What would that, like you really care? Do you really care, man? That's just that immaturity that a lot of Western people have. What would you worry about that? Why would I have to pay taxes here, sir? Tell me that. Since you want to be a lawyer with practicing Filipino law without a license, you guys need to go on somewhere with that stuff. And if the Filipino people say, hey, you need to pay taxes here and in America, I say, okay, but taxation without representation, give me something for my tax money. But I don't earn a penny in the Philippines. I'm not taking a job from any Filipino. I'm not taking any money from the Philippines, guys. Listen to this. It's different. I'm working from the Philippines. I'm not working in the Philippines. Okay? And all you got to do, Michael Parker, I'm paying taxes through giving back. I stopped counting at 2 million. And people try to challenge that amount and say, well, okay, I don't have nothing to prove to you. We built houses. We taking people off the street. We paid their rent up for a year. We've done all kind of stuff. It's what you don't see, guy. Okay? It's what you don't see. But people like you, man, y'all pitiful, man, really. What's up, Corey Moore? I see you on here. Okay, he says, no, it's not, you're missing the whole point of this. Okay? Because if you're, by the time you retire, you're still going to have debt, Mark. Okay? We're not leaving debt behind. You can't leave debt behind. How are you going to do that? Okay? You're the one who's a fool. You're not even thinking. Okay? If I got credit card debt in my country or whatever it is, and I'm barely making it back, which a lot of people are over there in America. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then I move to a country where I've got more money than bills. I've got extra money now. Now I can pay down that credit card debt. I can pay down my car note or whatever it is I owe over there. You can't leave debt behind. Come on, man. You guys, y'all just get on here for the sake of arguing. You're not trying to be productive. You're not trying to help anybody. You're not trying to add anything to the conversation. You want to be devil's advocate. Go somewhere else with that stuff. Okay, we're sacrificing too much to come over here. I'm talking to serious travelers and retirees, not people like you. I'm not talking to you because you're not going to get out the couch. Okay? You a couch bro is what you are. An armchair bro. That's what you are. Y'all got all the answers sitting over there, and you're not contributing anything to the conversation. Yeah, thank you, Thomas. But people like him, they're smart. He said, doesn't debt follow you wherever you go? Yeah, it is. See, fortunately or unfortunately, we have a credit report in America. See, I got a friend, I consider Alex a friend, who's a young guy who's going somewhere over there. He's in real estate and everything like that. He said, Cal, because me and him, because he was saying, hey, I can help you with your credit if you got bad credit. I was like, no, man. And I showed him. I said, look, at that time, I didn't even have a 739. But when I think I had like a 699 or something. I said, but yeah, this is what I'm doing. So when I got the 739, I sent him that. I said, look, this is where I am now. He's like, oh man, you can get anything you want with that. See, that's what we're trying to do because eventually, Mark, most of us eventually go back home at some point. If we're fortunate enough and we don't end up dying. Most of us eventually go back home. So I'm well equipped now than when I was when I got here. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to show people how to take advantage. Don't just come over here and sit around and look stupid and waste your time. Take advantage of the opportunities over here. as a Westerner. But we don't do it. Hey, Sakaria. He said, what's up, Cal? Checking in, bro. These trolls don't understand your generosity. The Filipino people know. Absolutely. I remember, look, in Maryland Church, she can vouch for this. When my child was not even on the radar, nobody even knew who I was. I said, Maryland, one day when I walk around here in this town, everybody's going to know my name. Don't get mad, okay? And she looked at me like, yeah, right. I can't walk up to the end of the street and people don't say, what's up, Sunshine? So they love me, man. I love them back. But I've proven that. It takes a while for them to um, trust you, man. They know I'm not over here fooling with their daughters and their wives and trying to take. I'm giving. But that community engagement is real important. But we just come over here and waste time. I don't waste my life, man. I'm going to make it productive. What's up, Saran Alive? He said, hell yeah, it follows you. I've had two things repossessed since living over here. Just couldn't sell them and lost a lot of equity. Yeah, but these guys were Saran Alive. They're not like you and everybody else. They're not, they don't think reasonably. You know, you can't outrun your debt. I mean, you can. It's just going to keep piling up on you, though. And the interest and all of that, you can't run from your debt. We're trying to pay it down. We're trying to pay it off. Okay? Who doesn't want to be debt free? Well, you're in Thailand. You always talk about how low the cost of living is over there. Well, how are you do? What more are you doing other than having cheap rent and cheap food? Okay? What else are you doing to take advantage of that lower cost of living besides bragging about it? Man, y'all better wake up, man. He said, it's like everywhere I go, there I am. That's right. But you can learn over here. Now, the next thing, this is crazy, but it's true. The outdoor activities, believe it or not, you know, people come over here and they'll, oh, it's too hot, they'll say. All the natural beauty, we don't take advantage of it. It's right at your fingertips over here. They don't go to the beach. They walk around all day in long pants and long shirts. They don't walk. They don't ride a bike. They don't jog. They don't play tennis. This is something you can do 24 hours a day over here. This is why I love the Philippines, because of the tropical weather. And most of the countries where you go to where they're developing, you know, that's one of the things, you know, nature is always going to be fair. Okay, well, you don't have a lot of money over there, so we're going to give you a lot of beautiful weather, a lot of beautiful uh, natural beauty. You know, we don't take advantage of it. You can look at people's phones who've been over here for a year. They don't have one picture of a volcano or anything, a waterfall, overweight, they're out of shape. They don't take advantage of this outdoor activity. They sit around the aircon all day or at the bar all day. As far as they get out, as you know, as being outdoors. Hey Raymond, what's up, man? He said getting ready to get my passport 4 to 6 weeks. I got my photos yesterday. What's up, Cal? Can you tell me what type of Capital One card you got? I'm going to write it down when you speak it. Well, I got two actually, but I only use one. I've got the hand me my wallet there, honey. One is a saver, and then one is the I forget the other one. And they gave me the saver because I pay so well on the other one, the Quicksilver one. This is the one I mostly use for everything. But I've got American Express. I've got them all. You know, when I was at home, believe it or not, guys, this is crazy. This is the only type of stuff they used to do when I bought a house. If you ever been approved for a home loan, you go to the mailbox and there'll be checks in there. Well, all you got to do is sign and cash the damn check. Your credit is so good, they figure out he's responsible. The same thing happened to me when I went home. When I went home, my daughter was like, Daddy, you got a check in the mail. It was from a finance company, $2,600. I cut it up. I don't need it. But when you're responsible like that, that's what happens. And you know, every now and then, um, you'll go somewhere. See, I use the credit cards at the grocery store. This is why it was important that I went home. All my credit cards had expired. Because when you use a credit card, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. You're going to get the full Forex exchange rate when you use that Capital One because they don't charge me an international fee. I don't even have to tell them I'm in the Philippines. They're going to charge me the same interest and all that as if I was at home. So when I go to save more and I buy my groceries, what is it today? 55.80. That's what I'm getting when they put my credit card in there. I'm getting the 55.80. That's the only way I know how to get it. The full exchange. Anywhere else, the bank is going to get their money some kind of way. Truth and Transparency, thanks for that super chat. He said, Cal, I'm very happy that you made it home safe and sound. Please continue to enjoy life and be a blessing to your family, subscribers, and the people of the Philippines. Be blessed. Man, thank you so much, man. I just want to make a difference, man, over here. You know, it's too many takers over here. You know, it's not enough givers, man. They really don't understand the law of compensation. There's a reason they say it's better to give than to receive because you're in a position to give. Okay? But they don't understand the law of compensation. We were having breakfast the other day with the engineer that built this house. Okay, he's humble, man. But this guy, he gives back. He helps a lot of people. He's honest, right? Now he's a councilman here in St. Carlos City. His business is booming. Okay, I'm watching the law of compensation work in his life. He probably don't even understand it. But I was talking to the guys at breakfast. We had a good breakfast the other day. And I was just telling them, I said, imagine how honest this man is. The chances I took, I'm 8,000 miles away to ask him to build my house. I had, I didn't even have all the money, but just agreeing to that. And I'm saying, man, because there's horror stories over here when it comes to buying land, building houses and all that. And I put myself in that line. But this man was as honest as you could possibly be. He built this house on time. He built it on budget. And guess what? He's been rewarded for it. He just finished another house from one of my subscribers who was at the breakfast with us. Hey, Don Trail, welcome to the fourth quarter. Let me put you up here. That's Michael Alexander. What's up, Mike Alexander? He said, thanks, Brother Cal, for sharing your life in the Philippines. That's all I got, Michael. Honestly, them old topics, man, they're going to run out. They're going to run dry, guys. Okay? But John Trail, let me find him. I guess they heard me the other day and they took that damn, oh, there it is. Don Trail, welcome to the fourth quarter. Thank you, man, so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I guess StreamYard heard me. They took down that damn sign right in front of it. Right now, it's just a dollar sign there. And if you touch that, then the link comes up. But they had me, man, I was in prison. I just had like just a little bitty corner that I had, and I got these fat fingers that I could even touch your comments, man. I was in prison. What's up, Frankie says, if you were Filipino, Rock wouldn't have built that house. Well, what do you mean? I don't understand it. This was his first house. Okay, he had just started his business. Now he's already a well-known engineer here in this area. They send him all around Asia, on environmental projects and stuff like that. The guy's really sharp, but no one had ever hired him to build a house. I was the first one. But he's got lots of Filipino um, clients now because they've seen his work. As a matter of fact, the house, like maybe how far you think it is? Maybe 100 meters from here from me. It's a Filipino couple, but they live in America. They saw me walking across the field. They said, "Aren't you Sunshine Shows? We watched you build your house. We want to build my mother a house right here." They said. I gave them the information to the engineer. And the same day, we were at the coffee shop getting our motorcycle clean, and they were there talking to him, and they saying, he built their mother a house. It's similar to this, but no, he's got a lot of Filipino clients now. Yeah, he would. The thing about it was, what I'm so proud of, which is just the timing, Frank, is that we built this house during the lockdown and the pandemic. Nobody was working. Okay, you couldn't even, you had to have certain, only so many people could come outside. They wearing the shields, they wearing the mask. Okay, he had about 10 or 12 people working on this house. And then, no sooner he finished my house, a friend of mine, simply because he saw him build my house, he hired him to build his house up in the mountains. So we kept people working. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about coming over here, having some type of influence. Imagine this my little channel. Imagine how much money that I brought into San Carlos City. Okay, just say he's built 8 houses off my channel, which that's being, uh, conservative. And most of them are like 5 million, 8 million, 6 million, like that. Let's just say 30 million just on houses. Okay, now you gotta realize all these guys who are coming here to see girls and to the Philippines, they'll just come to San Carlos City to hang out with me. They staying in hotels, they eating in restaurants, transportation, money they're giving to the girl and the family. Easily 100 million pesos, man, since the Philippines opened up. I'm just telling you, okay? That's what I'm talking about, community engagement. But we'll come over here. We don't want to get to know anybody because that's next. Hey, Ted Rogers, thanks for that super chat. He says, hey, Cal, I've been living in Peru since 2007. I've been with the same lady for all this time. If anyone has any questions about Peru, just ask me. Oh, man, I would love to have you on this channel, man. Jacob Tanja, if you or Michael beat your life on her, I'm going to put my email up here, man. I want to have you on my channel. I want to interview you during the live stream. Because it's not just about the Philippines. We've had guys here from Panama. We've had guys here, Thailand, of course. And, we just want people to know their options. But thank you, Ted. I appreciate you. We've had people on here from Mexico. Yeah, this is what we want. Okay, truth and transparency. I thought you was a member already. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. Welcome to the fourth quarter. Let's see. I gotta find this. I'm on my phone, guys. Be patient. It's not like when I'm on my. I've got a brand new mic. I just haven't used it yet. I don't even know if it's charged up. I got it from Amazon. This is a good one though. And so when I start interviewing people, you're gonna be able to hear them even through the wind and everything else. But truth and transparency, welcome to the fourth quarter. Thank you so much for your support. I really mean that. But here's something else we don't take advantage of when we come to places like the Philippines and developing countries, which the Philippines is not a developing country. It's actually a step above this. But the networking opportunities, meaning meeting new people. How many times have you heard somebody say, I don't want to be around expats, and they don't have any Filipino friends? Their whole life is just them and their girlfriend and her family. Man, that gets old. You don't understand, man, some of the just unbelievable people I've met since I've been in the Philippines. I'm talking about unbelievable. Politicians, multimillionaires, just regular Joe people, hardworking guys, man, with great attitudes. Over here, man, just by extending my hand and offering help or a conversation or whatever it is. One of the closest guys I've been to over here, John. I met him, just at the laundromat. Honestly, John met me before I started my channel. No, I started my channel. It just wasn't going nowhere when he met me. He didn't know me from my channel. But we don't get to know enough people. People always talk about Dumageddon, right? And it has the wrong reputation. There's some great people in Dumageddon. There's only just a smidgen of vloggers down there, guys. Okay, what they say it's 4,000 expats in Dumageddon or whatever. And what they got a handful of vloggers down there. If you go in places like Cafe, what's that one place we ate the steak and stuff all the time? If you go in a place like that, what's the other one? Ground Zero. If you go to the Boulevard, man, you're gonna meet some great guys, man. And see, I don't drink, so I don't go in that famous why not place. But all you gotta do is at about 5 o'clock, walk up that boulevard. And you're gonna meet good people. When Roger Walker came to the Philippines, I met him in Dumageddon. We were just talking, and then here comes another guy from America. He just joined the conversation. But networking opportunities, we don't take advantage of it. We don't want to know. We don't want anybody to know us over here. What's up, Corey Moy says that Ted Rogers said, Kuma Star. They say that over here, Kuma Star, right? He said, does everyone in the Philippines still think the shots are safe? What do you mean? Oh, well, you mean that's the vaccine? Well, you really didn't have a whole lot of controversy over here. See, one thing I like about here, Filipinos, they respect authority. Okay, and Duterte put his foot down. He said, if you want to come outside, you're going to take that shot. If not, stay your ass inside, because there was no conspiracies going on over here. People were dying. Okay, and we're not going to get into that. Print 3D. Okay, you didn't take it. Good. I've been taking vaccines my whole life. Okay, I wasn't going to buy into that conspiracy. And I took my shots years ago. So if something were to happen to me, don't blame it on that vaccine. But we're not going to get into that debate. That's an ignorant debate. I was in the military. I took vaccines. I didn't have a choice. In school, I took vaccines. I didn't have a choice. Way back in the 60s when they didn't know a tenth of what they know about vaccines and all that then. You had little boys like me that were crying in line because we see that big gun, they press it against your arm and shoot it. See, I don't forget that stuff. But no, we're not going to argue that. The Philippines had the strictest lockdown during pandemic. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we were the only people on the planet over here that wore those shields, guys. They're uncomfortable. They're cheap. The plastic used to just irritate my ears right here. But you had no choice. You had to wear it. If I'm riding on the motorcycle with Maryland, now forget all the wind blowing and everything like that. Forget that when we come inside, we're sleeping in the same bed inches from each other. When I'm riding with her on the motorcycle outside, she got to have on the shield, and I do too, and the mask. Man, it's hot over here with that stuff on. But people didn't complain. They did it. He says, I like Aida women, black Filipinos. Well, there's plenty of them over here, but you don't hardly see them. Now, do you see Phil-Am women over here like Jenna Lynn that I interviewed, half black, half Filipino? Yeah. But the Aida, I've got a picture on my community page. Man, they're little women. Okay. I don't know. Jenna Lynn is tall. Hell, Jenna Lynn is probably 5'8". But her father's from Ghana and the mother's Filipino. But you'll see a lot of that. But Aida women, you very seldom see them, man. They're very shy. I mean, when we were coming from, when me and Merle and the kids were coming from Boracay, we stopped in Iloilo on the way back. Well, I had to go to the ATM machine. I got some money out and I saw some. It was a man and it looked like maybe three of his daughters because they were up in age. Oh man, they ran for me. I had to run them down to give them 100 pesos each. They saw me and boy, they took off. But the girls that came through San Carlos City, they're from Iloilo. They read palms. They were selling different little traditional knickknacks and stuff. I gave them some money and took some pictures with them. But they're little people, man. They didn't even come to my shoulder, I don't think. But they just look like black people to me. Hey, Raymond, he said, that's why you said starting with the bubble city, studio, cheap apartment, later on get a condo and rent it out, make some income, just trying to make income, hopefully, before I get a woman. Well, I was saying that these bubble cities, guys, there's more than what I thought. There's a lot of these bubble cities in the Philippines, these urban cities. I'm saying that's an easy way for you to acclimate into the Philippines over here. You want to get your feet wet. A lot of people okay, I'm going to come up with a good interview with y'all, but he had his internet wasn't good enough. Y'all remember King B. Stacker? I met him in person before. Well, he moved straight to the province, but now he lives in the city in Lady. And I was interviewing him, but we couldn't get it done. His internet was just so screwed up. We're going to try it again. He's going to tell you what life is really like living in the province. And for less than 1,000 a month. He's doing it right now. And he's not going to hold back. It's not easy to do that, guys. His income kind of had a lot to do with him trying it. But he's living in the city now. It's tough to do that, man. You got to, put your feet in the water first. But we try to come over here and jump straight to the province, man. Saran a lot, he's on here. He did it. But I don't know what I know he's got a military background, but I don't know his background in America. You know, if you come from a rural area, but it's still tough, man. I'm sure he's used to it now. He's been here for quite a while. Okay, but the next thing is, and this is something very few of us do, learning new languages. We got a perfect opportunity, but we don't do it. I was riding with the tricycle driver yesterday coming from the store, and I said, when you say "Diri long" means right here only. Stop, let me off right here. He was shocked. He's like, "Oh, do you know the Messiah language?" I said, Gamai long, a little bit only. And I've learned that, man. I didn't know that before. Merlin taught me all of that. But just to be able to say those few little lines like that, man. But we don't try it all, you know. So we have to go places. That's why the Philippines is so popular, because they know the people can speak English. But guess what? When you get over here, they're not going to be speaking it. Very seldom will they speak it. They're speaking their language, one of their dialects. So many of them over here. Okay, think about this. Now, I didn't even know this until we were eating breakfast the other day, Friday, when the engineer said the Messiah in Dumagetti is different from the Messiah here in St. Carlos City. Now, once you go, and that's 5 hours away, but you can go to Bacolod, which is really only like an hour. If you're in a car, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. They have a total different language there. It's not Messiah, it's Ilongo. But we don't even try to learn nothing. So, you don't understand, guys, that when you can't understand anything, you're at a grave disadvantage. I don't want to know it 100% because I don't want to know what people are saying about me behind my back. Okay, I'm pretty sure they say stuff. And I don't want to hear it. Maybe, I don't want to understand it. The less I know, the better off I am. But I know enough to show respect to the people and to the culture. But we don't even try. If people have been over here for years, I'm not trying. I'm too old or whatever it is. But these are things that Westerners, we don't take advantage of, man. There's so many. I'm going to keep going down. I've got like 4 more I'm going to talk about. But I just want to put it in your head that there's a whole lot more over here in these countries besides our relationship. That's all we focused on. And you miss out on all the other stuff. By the end of the year, I promise you, man, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to have an 800 credit score. That's my goal. I'm going to show it to you. There's nothing you can do with it. It's not going to have my social security number or anything on. I'm going to show you because I want that. When I go back to America, I want them to roll out the red carpet for me. I've never really had that. Okay. I was part of a program called Homeowners and Partnerships in 2004. That's how I was able to buy my house. They had an agreement, a partnership with certain banks. And once your credit score and everything reached a certain level, and you were able to get your loan through them. I had like a 6.8, which was pretty good in 2004 interest rate. But I only had like a 620. That's what you had to have. That's all I had. It's only when I came over here that I started shooting up like that. He said to Ted Rogers, how old is your woman? Yeah, see, we want a relationship. He says, hey, Cal, he talk about if you have a girlfriend in the Philippines, should she work or not? I know they don't make a lot in the Philippines. Well, that's a decision you're going to have to make. I would say if she got a job and she's getting paid and she likes it, I would say keep it. Let her keep it, but we don't do that. Marilyn did not quit her job right away when we got together. And she had stopped before Sunshine Shoulders. It wasn't like all of a sudden Sunshine Shoulders blew up and then Marilyn stopped working. No. It was just a lot of her clients were not paying her. And Marilyn's too nice. And Marilyn's out there hustling. And I was just like, look, no, if they're not going to pay you. And Marilyn would even pay their taxes for them sometimes and then expect them to pay her back. But they wouldn't do it. So the pandemic just made it easier. You got to realize when Marilyn was pregnant with Booby, Marilyn was still working. But that's a decision you're going to have to make. If she would have had a job, okay, like Angelo Habib's girlfriend has a great job, okay, you would be remiss to ask, he would be wrong to ask her to quit that job. I mean, she earns good money, considering, being over here. I think she's earned like 30,000 pesos a month. That's a damn good job. It just depends on what, with you, a lot of times older guys, they got money and the girl may be working at the grocery store, earning 8,000 pesos a month. And they're not spending a whole lot of time together because they're working 8, 10, 12 hours a day. So when she gets home, she's tired. Okay, she maybe she doesn't really like her job. So they'll be like, okay, you might as well quit. I'll pay you that. I want you with me 24 hours so we can travel and everything like that together. But yeah, that's going to be a decision you're going to have to make. But sometimes it's an easy decision. It's just an easy decision to make, Ron. Hell, she's earning a lot of people that we're going to deal with, they earn anywhere from 4 to 8,000 pesos a month. I'm talking about the women we deal with. There's people over here, man, that have more money than you. There's people over here who have really good jobs. They're not doctors and stuff like that. They earn good money. Hey, thanks, Ron, for that super sticker. You'll be surprised. I did a video a long time ago that the poverty will shock you, right? But the wealth will shock you too when you get over here. There's wealth. I mean, there's wealth that you wouldn't even. I've met Filipinos over here who are wealthier than anybody I've ever met anywhere in the world. I mean, crazy wealth, man. You wouldn't believe it. And some of the people, they have private armies. That's illegal in America. You see some stuff over here, man. Hey, Raymond Smith, thanks for that super sticker. But yeah, we don't try to learn the language at all, man. We because people always say, what are you saying when you say Mayan Boomtag? That's good morning. Mayan Hapon, good afternoon. Mayan Uto is what? What's Mayan Uto? Good noon. And then Mayan Gabi is good evening. But I know other stuff like, hey, I get in the tricycle, I say, can you take me to M. Lawyer Atbang Gasano? That means across the street from Gasano. I just say little stuff like that. It's already in my subconscious mind. I automatically say it. Deary long, stop. Let me out right here. You better know little stuff like that because a lot of these tricycle drivers and bus drivers, they can't speak English. They're not used to hearing it. They're used to having that Messiah, Tagalog, and all that in their ear. I was asking the guy the other day because they speak proper English over here. King's English, they call it. And they think I'm slang, man. They say your English is, I can't understand your English. I asked the guy, it took me, I'm telling you, man, it took a guy coming out the street. He saw I was struggling with the guy. I asked him, did they sell bread? And I said it just like I'm saying it to you. Do you have bread? He's like, what? It's like bread. They came in and said bread, but they said it a different way. And I'm like, you tell me you couldn't understand. I'm like, bread, bread. I'm making a sandwich. But yeah, we just don't fool with the language. But okay, here's something else. And I've embraced this totally. The simpler lifestyle. We don't know how to relax as Westerners. We always have to be doing something. And I've learned to relax over here. You don't always have to be doing something. One thing that we get wrong when we come over here, especially the first few times, and you see people sitting around, you think, oh, they're lazy. No, they're just relaxing. They know how to do that. You go to the park, man, you'll see Filipinos, I don't care how old they are, they'll be in a circle, sitting down, eating, talking. We can't do that, man. We always got to be doing something. Give me the tennis racket. Oh, well, let me go walking, hiking or something. They'll just sit there in the shade, talking. But the simpler lifestyle over here, I don't even have a car. I don't drive, never driven here. I don't even want a car. And I was crazy about cars. I don't have fancy. Y'all see my television all the time on my wall. It's 20, what's that, 32 inches, I think, or 36, whatever it is. I don't have big screen TVs. I don't have anything fancy over here. I live a simple lifestyle. Some people would call it boring. But that brings your blood pressure down. I'm not ripping and running all the time. I mean, there are advantages to living a simpler lifestyle. That's how I'm able to save money. I'm not doing everything, man, that I'm always eating out. And, I've always got to be doing something, going to uh, the clubs and the malls and all of that. I don't have to do that. I've got a book I'm reading now. One of the best books I've read in a long time. It's called I Wonder as I Wander. It's by Langston Hughes. It's really a great book. He's he's in he's already left 1930s Cuba. Now he's in 1930s Haiti. And he's talking about, man, it's like he's in the Philippines, man. They get on the bus, it's crowded. I mean, it's rickety, and I'll be on one of them buses today. It's a great book, man, but it's a simple life he's talking about living right now where he is. But yes, a simple life. I don't worry about all that stuff I used to worry about. But we don't take advantage of it. But he says, Ted Rogers said she was 56. Wait, let me see. He said, when I got here, she was 36. Now she's 54. So, y'all been together 18 years? And I think he said he's 56. So he's got a woman around his age, which is, kind of rare here. We almost demand that we have an age gap. Westerners do when we come here. Although there's some exceptions. Jeffrey Tatter, one of his buddies, was 63, married a 60-year-old woman. I'd like to hear his story of what life would be like. See, this is a simple life, drinking water all the time. I drink Coke every now and then, though. But I drink more water now since I've been here. But he married a woman 60 years old. We almost demand that the woman's younger than us. It's just like this is something that we're proud of. We brag about. Hey, Corey Moore, thanks for that super chat. He says, Magandangu Maga, Calvin. That's good morning in Tagalog. He said, keep up the great content. Kumasta Kana Sunshine Shoulders. He said, learn some of the language, guys. It helps. Yeah. uh, Palam. Yeah, you don't have to know it fluently, but you'll meet people who know it fluently. When I was down in Zamboanga, and see, this could probably be CIA, special forces, whatever it is, when you see guys down there, because they're big, and you see them and they'll be at the grocery store, at the mall, and they're speaking fluent, Chavacano, fluent, Messiah. And he said, yeah, these guys are military some kind of way. Uh, I used to see them all the time. I'd see drones landing. It's a whole other world down there. Rest in peace, Elliot Eastman, but I was really in the belly of the beast in Zamboanga. I've seen some stuff over 10 years. I mean, I was in a more dangerous situation really than him. But it was personal, I believe, with Elliot Eastman. Most of the crime and stuff over here is personal. It's not random, guys. They just don't. You see what happened yesterday in Las Vegas, or it would be today in America. It's yesterday for me, but it's still where the guy in Vegas went in the gym and just randomly started shooting people, killed one person, then runs out and the police gun him down. They showed it all. I was shocked on the Vegas channel. They didn't blur it out or anything. His fool bled out. They gunned him down. He run out. They right behind him. They shoot him from the back. But yeah, it's personal over here. And that's what as long as you, rule number one, shut the fuck up and mind your own business, you probably not gonna have anything that even resembles crime over here. And I've lived all over the Philippines, man. Yeah, he said, do I still vote? Absolutely. I sent in, matter of fact, I put it on my community page. Absentee ballot when I'm overseas. But yeah, I still vote. I pay taxes, I vote. I'm an American citizen. But I've been all over the Philippines. I haven't had anything that resembles crime. I mean, ever. What's up, Sir Ron? A lot there he is. Now he lives in the province. He's building a house up there. This guy's good with his hands. He's building his own house. It's gonna take him longer, but he gets the satisfaction of it being done like he wants it done. But he's one of the exceptions, really, man. This guy really lived in the city that he lives in, I consider it the province. So he lives in the province of that city. But he's happy. He said most months he spends 400 to 800 per month. This is what people want, but are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to, deal with what he deals with? He lives in the mountains. You better get you one of them, 150cc motorbikes. They're gonna take you up there. That's what I was talking about. The logistics of living in the province is enough for me. And I did stay one night in the province before, but it was in northern Mindanao, and they lived in a fishing village right by the ocean, white sand beach and everything. Because I said I never spent one night. I did. Remember I told y'all that I had the uh, engagement party where I fed the whole barangay. I literally fed the whole barangay, almost. I spent about 20,000 pesos in 2009. Yeah, okay, that's a lot of money come up to 2025. But anyway, the tradition was we had to stay in her mother's and them house. We couldn't go back to the uh, hotel. We had to stay in there. So I remember that. I remember that today. I said, let me tell them I have stayed in the province. And I'm telling you, it was the province. The mosquitoes will literally kill you if you're not under the mat. I mean, under that net. And you better get under that net when you're supposed to. I mean, when they open that little thing, you got to get in there and close it back. because it's happened before, man. When you wake up, man, all your arms, man, I'm talking about just everywhere is full of mosquito bites. What's up? What time is it, Travis? I see you on here. He said, yeah, Cal, he's bored now. He chose way too fast. The only friends he has there are her friends. Yeah. And you would be shocked. A lot of people are like that. When we were at the breakfast, because a couple of guys we've agreed to meet every so often. Okay. Sometimes I'm not able to make it, but when I am, it makes all the difference, man. And that's what the guy said. He said these breakfasts are very important because he's the type of guy, he's educated and he doesn't get the conversation. And I've talked about this before. He doesn't get the conversation that he's used to having, but he gets it with us. You need that over here. I don't know what Serrano does. I guess he comes down and goes to St. Cloud City sometime. I don't know, but that's the only thing, man. You really need to be around these other expats, even if it's just once a week. Because all I get here is, are you hungry? What do you want for dinner? Did you take a shower yet? That's it. I don't get anything more than that. They speak Messiah, strict Messiah in my house. That don't bother me. Yeah, he married a 60. Oh, you talking about your buddy, Jeffrey? Yeah. He married a 60. Yeah, he's bored. He said he married a 60-year-old woman. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give him credit for this. And this is what I told Maryland the other day. He's got a true Filipino though. The woman that he married, and I was telling Maryland's mother, this is the reputation that Filipinos today are riding on. They're profiting off the reputation of women 60 and over like that, who really are traditional, who really take care of their men. The women today, they're still traditional. There's nothing. Marilyn, her mother, different. She learned a lot from her mother. But listen, guys, here's what her mother does. She does stuff for me. I never even have to ask her. Only asked her one time. My tea at night, at 8 o'clock, she's bringing my tea, man. Made perfectly like I like it. Only told her one time. She does that every single day, man. Just the little stuff she does, okay? She's the one makes sure, what you want for lunch today? Or whatever it is. I mean, she would make somebody, I can imagine when she was in her 20s and 30s and the type of wife she was to her husband, because she's never been with anybody else, just Maryland's and father. Even when he died so many years ago, she remained single. This is the Filipinos. We think we're marrying and coming over to see. It's not, guys. Okay. I'm sorry, it's not. That they just don't make them like that anymore. It is some truth to the internet and just them having so much more access to foreigners and stuff like that and everything that it's just not that way, man. I mean, even our helper here, she's 60. I mean, they just do stuff that you just don't see the younger Filipinos do, man. And they can do it all. They know how to do it all and do it well. We're getting like a watered down version of that. I mean, I only have to ask Merlin's mother to do something one time, and she does it forever. If I say, okay, and people can vouch for this, who've ever stayed in my guest house. If I say, yeah, I've got some guests coming, she's over there, it's spick and span. And then what she'll do, she'll come over there, knock on the door. Do they want coffee or tea? She brings them their breakfast. She does all this. This is naturally what she grew up doing. And it's something to see, man. You're just not used to seeing that. And if you're thinking that, oh, the woman I'm getting over here is going to be like that, it's going to be a watered down version of that. It's not going to be like them. So I can say, I can give him that credit that by him marrying a 60-year-old woman, he's getting all that. DJ Joe said, I'm watching from Angeles City. I'm heading back to Las Vegas in 2 weeks. Yeah, be careful, man. That guy went up in the gym, man, started shooting people. He killed one person. He said he just came up in there with the AR-15 and started shooting. What is it with the AR-15s over there? What is it, guys, over there? They love that AR-15. That's their weapon of choice. McCullough Will says that Jeffrey Child, he said, yeah, that's most guys here. They move to the province and only have contact with their spouse, family, or friends. Yeah, that makes for a boring life, man. Even here in the city, they do that. They're not even trying to be around other expats. They don't know the importance of that. Man, I'd go crazy. That's one of the reasons I have meet and greets. That ain't for me to, to be the center of attraction, because most times I'm not. It's to be around other people, man. We're going to have great conversation. We're going to talk about stuff that only we can talk about. It's always good to be around people like that, because you miss that, man. You miss it. That's W secret to success. We need a stock tip for the day, man. He said, we missed your question concerning my home. No, it wasn't sold yet. Monstrosity. 1 million plus homes aren't falling off the shelves these days, but thanks for asking. Yeah, you got a nice place, man. I mean, no, it's more than nice. You live in the type of lifestyle over there hell celebrities live. I've seen his house before. It's crazy. See, I never even, I don't even think I even dreamed that high before, to live in $1 million house. Because my dreams and my goals are reasonable. I don't even think, when I was married to my American wife, hell, we had 4 children. That wasn't reasonable for me. But, $125,000, $150,000 house, yeah, that was reasonable. And I end up getting that. But yeah, W Secret to Success has a hell of a house. I mean, but he worked hard for it, man. He made a lot of the right decisions that a lot of men are making today. You can't knock people like that. I'm not even jealous of people like that. Nowadays, man, when I was growing up, I used to look up to rich people. But today I don't. When I see the state of the world and you see these billionaires and the greed that surrounds them, I don't want any parts of that. Yeah, I don't want money to be an issue. But I don't want to be that rich, because I'd probably give all mine away anyway. I just don't see anything special in it. Like, they're so greedy and they're just sucking all the life out of everybody else just for a handful of people. When I made that statement on that video the other day, it's true. Look it up. The top 1%, man, their wealth has increased by 21 trillion. When the rest of us over there is 900 billion less. That's, it's just not anything to brag about. I mean, it's taste. It has no. They have no taste anyway. All that opulent stuff that they have, and it just looks stupid to me. I guess as I've gotten older, it doesn't. I just have no interest in it. Hey, thanks for that super chat. He said, fellas, if you can find an attractive older Filipino, you're better off, especially if you're looking for white material. Well, it just all depends, man. Um, there's a lot of white material over here that aren't older. But you do have to take your time, Corey. That is true, but we won't do it. You know, one thing that um, you run into when you deal with older women is they're set in their ways. They're going to act like your mother. Okay, I'm sorry, but they are. He said, "Cal, do you have rodent issues?" I don't, but I'm sure that there's probably mice and rats around here somewhere. But no, I don't have them. There's enough cats around here, to even things out. But no, I don't have them. Every now and then you'll be walking through that field and you may see a dead mouse or rat or something. But no, I don't have them. I've got geckos, the small ones, ants, but rats, no. I don't even have roaches. I have very few insects because of those geckos. That's why you want them around. But yeah, they're just not around. I guess it's nature's way of kind of evening things out. But I'm pretty sure they're here. I've seen them before, but they're not in my house. And my dogs would probably catch them and eat them anyway. Well, I don't know about eat them, but they would kill them. But thankfully, I don't. But now, when I was staying in the squatters area down in Zamboanga, they were by the river though. It's called Riverville. So you would see rats, but they wouldn't bother you. They would stay up on top, and the railings and different things. But yeah, I mean, you would hear them at night scurrying across the beam or something like that. But they would never, come down and try to get you. But yeah, it really depends. If you live by that water, you're gonna have them. Keith Parker said, "Cal, I came to realize by dating Filipinas, they are the same as Western women. It's some there that date guys for looks, just like in the West. It's some there that date men because of money, just like the West. Yeah, we're still on planet Earth, but they are different in a lot of ways, though. Okay, they're willing to go the extra mile a lot faster. I guess because of the logistics and the dynamics of the relationship. And for the most part, they're women. You're right about that. But I would rather have, just because I've dated them both, yeah, I would rather have the Filipino, maybe because she's different. You know, I just like their disposition. One thing they don't do like Western women, they don't complain. If you got a Filipino that's complaining all the time, man, you're with the wrong woman. See, yeah, they might like guys. Of course they do. Most Filipinos over here, they want a Filipino man. He's what's attractive to them. They don't want. You see these videos, man. You see these guys that come, oh, she left me and this and that. Dude, look at you. You're 69. Do you really think the woman 20 something, 30 something years that finds you attractive or something? One day she just wakes up and says, oh, I can't do this anymore. But they complaining like they're Enrico Suave or somebody. Most of them, they go to bed dreaming of Filipino men and they wake up thinking about Filipino men all day long. But they don't complain. You don't hear them complaining. Man, Western women will complain about anything. The only thing you may hear them say, oh, it's hot out here today, or something like that. That's the big difference for me. I don't want to be around some woman complaining all the time. So yeah, most of them are with you initially, Keith, for uh, your finances because they know you can do a whole lot more for them. Did y'all remember I posted that picture of, I actually got it from Andrew Tate. That's what he said. He said, this is what most men look like to women if you don't have money. And it's a picture of like a, one of them early man looking, ape looking men. Trust me, if you don't have any money, you look like that to most women. Your money makes you look a whole lot more attractive. They can tolerate you a whole lot more if you got money, if you can help them. That's anywhere really, guys. Okay, but what we do, we fool ourselves. How can you have a 60-something-year-old man, late 50s, 60, complaining about the way women acting over here with them? Because you're not in reality. You know good and well that's why she's with you, man. Why can't you come to your senses with that? Why do we keep have to beat people in their head with that? Okay, what would make you think that a 30-year-old woman that's in her prime is going to want to be with you? You're 63 or whatever it is. I was just watching the video the other day, yesterday, me and Merlin. We didn't watch the whole thing, but I said, see, look at this guy. What's he complaining about? You lucky the woman married you to begin with. And she's lucky that you came all the way over here. But once she got to where she wanted to be, or she got what she wanted out of a relationship, she was gone. That's the only time you're going to know what you got. But guys, don't fool yourself. I mean, they're no different. They want an attractive mate too. Yeah, and they'll tell you themselves. This is one way you can tell if you really dealing with just a typical Filipina and you probably on the right track. If she says, yeah, I'm just a simple woman. Oh, I'm simple. If she uses that even in her profile, okay, that's good. That's a good thing. If she's saying that. I was talking to a guy, we're not talking to him, chatting with him. He said that he done one of his friends giving a girl 30,000 pesos a month and buying a iPhone, a new iPhone 16 Pro Max. Gave it to her and met her in the airport. And I'm thinking, like, come on, man. I see where Gio's got that video today where he's talking about why do we keep sending money over and over and over. It's just something that we do. I don't know. I haven't figured that one out either. But we do it. Yeah, it is a self delusion. It's our ego. I mean, if you just understand what's going on over here, man, it makes things a whole lot easier. As long as you're getting what you want, don't get in the way of her getting what she wants. But don't fool yourself, man. This is what's crazy. That we want these women to love us. We almost demand it. Like, dude, I don't care if you love me, disrespect me, you know, just don't get in my way of getting what I want. I'm not gonna get in the way of you getting what you want. But all this, do you really love me and all that stuff, man? Guys, that's delusion right there. Just be happy, man. That's all you need to be. It's better than being by yourself. But don't fool yourself, man. He said, did you know that cats can see and react so fast? It's really, really hard for them to get bit by a snake. Everything's like slow motion for them. Yeah, that's why you want one around. We don't have any, but there's cats around here. And the mice and the rats know that. But there's not a whole bodies of water and stuff. And you gotta realize St. Carlos City, remember, it's one of the cleanest cities in all the Philippines. Not just Negros Occidental. So where I live, it's not a whole lot of old trash and stuff around, stuff that's gonna, boxes stacked up, old mattresses and stuff that are breeding grounds for rats. We got regular garbage pickup and everything like that, man. They got a whole cleaning crew. This is what I was showing people that was they came over here. The guy I told you about his whole family here. I was telling him, I said, look how clean this place is. Because y'all think I just be on here yapping. People are moving over here now. It's a group. It's still small, but a lot of men are moving here for the cost of living, the lower cost of living. Imagine he's with his whole family, his wife and their two sons. He's not over here for a woman. He's really like, man, it's too expensive. And he lives in Portugal and England and the UK. They kind of go back and forth. And they're really looking. They've been to Thailand. He just said it was too many tourists there for him. And so now they're over here in the Philippines looking around, trying to see if they can find something, that's right for them. But the lower cost of living is way up there. He said humans are faster than snakes. Well, I'm gonna take your word for it, Vernon. I think we panic, don't we? And we end up we don't see them and we get bit. He says a 25 or 30-year-old woman has lots of options, and a 6-year-old man might not be her first pick. Yeah, but see over here, typically you're right. But see over here, it's different because we meet the women on the dating site. It's a whole different world. But we don't want to admit it. We think it's like that around all the Philippines and all the women are that way. No, most of us meet our women, Ted, online on these dating sites, and they already know it's 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. They would probably much rather meet an older guy because he's going to treat them better. A younger guy, he's still showing his oats. He might just come over here for 2 weeks and run through several women and go back home and breaking hearts and stuff like that. You know, a 25 or 30-year-old woman, if she can get, reasonably decent looking 60-year-old man, knows he's already got savings, knows he's got a pension, knows he's going to put her on a pedestal, she's going to be his first pick. He's going to be her first pick on those dating sites. They have a whole different attitude. When you see a woman on a dating site, man, she's thrown all that other stuff out the window. You don't have to court me. You know, she's telling you a whole lot about having a profile there. Okay. More than likely, it's 18 to 80. Looks don't matter. How big you are don't matter. Okay. But I want the unspoken agreement. I want you to pay for everything, and I'm going to take care of you. They're telling you a lot when they have a profile online. You don't have to court me. I'm going to give you the girlfriend experience when you get over here. When you get off the plane, we're going to start living together as if we've been knowing each other our whole lives. She's telling you a lot on that dating site. We just don't know it. It takes you a while to realize that. But men lose their minds. We don't want to hear none of that. We don't want to hear the truth. Hey, Covenant Boy Speaks. Thanks for that super chat. He said, what's up, Cal and Sunshine Shoulders crew? He said, I'm just enjoying this slow and rainy Sunday in the province. Oh, okay. So you live in the province in Surigao. I love the rain here, man. Let's see. I missed somebody on here. Let me see. Oh, here. Hey, Billy Smart James, thanks for that super chat. He said, how's life been for you since you've been back? Man, it's been great, really. You missed the treatment. I miss Maryland, man. I didn't have that over there. And I kind of you know, my life is over here. I kind of missed out on a whole lot in America because I really didn't want to be there, and I felt guilty when I got back. The minute I got there, I'm trying my best to get back, get all my things taken care of, so I can get back. So honestly, man, I may have to go back. I missed a lot of people. I saw all my kids and my grandkids. I just wasn't there long enough. And that's the catch. You stuck between a rock and a hard place, guys. You got to understand, you can retire too young overseas because you still have a whole lot of life that you're leaving behind. And I don't think we put that into the equation. Now, some guys, they're older, so their friends and family, a lot of them are dead. The children are grown, grandchildren may even be grown. Okay, but when you start moving overseas and you start a new life, you certainly a relationship, and you got a good relationship, you don't want to be away from her. You can't be two places at the same time. It's a thin line, man, that you walk. But yeah, I'm a whole lot better since I've been back. And I've got a special circumstance over here with Booby. Booby's different, man, and I have to be here for Booby. That's just what it is, guys. Think long and hard. When you having children overseas and stuff like that, because it's a big responsibility that you have to the child. There's some things that only I can explain to Booby, and nobody's gonna take care of your kids the way that you will. My sons, they're growing older now. I don't have a problem. I still worry about them because they're in America. They're over there in that matrix. But they're both adjusting well. One will be 15 this year. One just turned 13. And, they're living good lives right now. But Booby is different. She's still over here. And just like my sons knowing me and seeing me, and, things start to make sense to them now, because they're speaking, Messiah, and they're around everybody. Everybody looks different. But then they see me and say, okay, it's all making sense to them. But we don't really think about that, man. It's a lot of stuff we don't think about. That's the point of, it's not just the cost of living and other perks we ignore when we move to a place like this. It's a lot of things we don't even consider when we talk about moving. Like I was talking about my buddy Angelo Habib, man, I understand him. His children are still, he's got minor children. His parents are still alive. He's only 44. Can you retire overseas too early? I think you can. Hey, Jack, what's up? He says, I got lucky, but not delusional. Yeah, I mean, what it is, man. You didn't really get lucky. You didn't get unlucky. Most of the women that we meet online, they're good women, man. It's not in them to cut our heads off because we stick them out there to be cut off. Okay, you got a good woman, but you're not delusional. You know what comes along with that. You got an attractive young wife. Okay, well, you better be on top of things. You better be taking care of her. You better make sure she's got what she needs. Okay, this is the delusional part that I'm talking about. You better make sure you're holding up to your end of the unspoken agreement. Because she's not with you because you're 63 and handsome and all of that. That develops. Y'all been together long enough where hell, she probably loves you legitimately. She should, as good as you are to her. But I mean, in the beginning, guys, don't be delusional. That's why they're on that dating site. They want just like you on there. Remember, don't worry about why she's on there. Why are you on there? Make sure you're getting what you set out to get. We're too worried about what she wants and what she's looking for that we neglect ourselves. That's how you end up getting tricked. You all you want. This is what messes us up. We don't go any further than, oh, I want a young and attractive woman. Well, the dating sites are full of that. You may want to go a little deeper than that. He said, Cal, I noticed your videos are getting mad views now. Keep pushing good information, brother. It's working. Yeah, I gotta be on the edge for my videos to get any views, really, because I believe I've got a shadow ban on me. And that comes from trolls complaining and reporting your videos and stuff. There's no reason why I should have a shadow ban. You know, my channel's not growing as fast as you should. I watch the same videos y'all watch. And I'm saying these guys are no better than me. Something's holding my channel back. But I don't care. I'm not complaining because I still got it good. But, you know, if you're a YouTuber out there and you watching, see, I'm going to be honest. I always tell these guys, just control what you can control, and that's the content. It's too much going on with YouTube, man, to be worried about stuff. A lot of times it's a popularity contest. A lot of times it's, can I relate to the person I'm watching? You know, if I were a Filipino, remember I don't live hypothetically. I'm just throwing this out there. What time to travel? If I were a Filipino and I'm giving you the same content that I'm giving you now, do you think my channel would be a whole lot? I'd have more subscribers, a lot more views. Absolutely. If I were a white guy, because there's more white guys coming over here, and I was talking about the same things I'm talking about now, would I have a bigger channel? Absolutely, I would. Simply because I would have more people out there who could relate to me. But yeah, it is, and I'm thankful, man, for the success I've had because it's far more than I ever dreamed. I will admit that. I didn't come on YouTube thinking, oh, I'm going to be this YouTube sensation and people are going to watch my channel and I'm going to have 229 people watching my live stream. That's a lie. Okay. And anybody that says that is lying to you. They don't know. That's what keeps me humble. Okay. A lot of people, they do get the big head. They don't understand that just like people cut you on, they can cut you off. And there's been successful big YouTubers who've been brought down, to reality, and now nobody even watches them anymore. They got all these subscribers, but they don't get any views. They have no influence or anything like that. You know, there are people who are treated like celebrities over here, but we do that to them. Imagine if Filipino P has to put on a damn uh, disguise to go to the store. See, that's ridiculous, man. You can't. Has YouTube reached that level? But she's a Filipino. We're crazy about Filipinos. She probably has to do that. I see that she, I used to get on her case, but then I start thinking, like, when I see the weird people and how they come at me, I'm like, well, she's a woman. And she really can't do uh, meet and greets. She'd have to have the police department there if she did. Okay. If she had a live stream, there'd probably be thousands of thirsty men on there. She probably wouldn't even get a chance to really have a topic. That's how big we made her because she's a Filipino. Some of these Filipino channels, man, they got 150, 130,000 subscribers. They're not giving out any information. They're just women. And we like to look at that. He says, at David A, you got to stop listening to these red pill podcasts, OG. The options aren't so diminished that they have to date 40 years up. The unspoken agreement in action. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I mean, they're no different. They're human beings, but you know, it ain't got nothing to do with it. When they get on their dating site, it's a whole new world, guys. It's not; those aren't, you know, that's not all Filipinos right there. That's a certain segment of the society over here. When you meet a woman on uh, the dating site, and you know, it's a red flag, really, when when they throw the Filipino man under the bus, because a lot of them will do that. And you're like, well, why do you want to date a foreigner? And it's like, oh, Filipinos are cheaters and this and that, right? Yeah, lady, you only dealt with one, and you're gonna paint them all as cheaters, and they're all no good, and this and that, are they players and all that? No. When you meet a woman and that's the first thing she said when you ask her, like, well, why would you want to date me? I live 8,000 miles away. If she can't be honest with you, man, it's a red flag, man. Merlin was honest with me. I respected her from day one with that. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm tired of Filipino men, they're cheaters and this and that." She never said that. Not one time did she ever say that to me. And when women start talking to you like that, and like Seth's travel vlogs, I keep bringing that up because you just aren't going to get that. It's not in them. That's why you get the content you do from Filipino bloggers. It's not in them to really give you the nitty gritty. So when a woman gives you the nitty gritty and really starts talking truth to you, you better listen up, man. You know, that's the day you turn over that glass and say, man, I'm getting some good information here. When she said why they date older men, she didn't say money and all that, which is in there. She was like, we don't like long distance relationships. We want a man that can stay here with us. Okay. But y'all not listening to that. Women don't want, oh, man, look, what makes you think if she really cares about you, she really loves you, that she don't want you here next to her? That it's okay that you live over there and you see her once or twice a year. And then when some guy slips over here who can stay over here 24/7 and ends up taking your girl or whatever it is, then you mad about that. He says, TJ says, I feel like dudes have different delusions about the Philippines that are age based. Makes me wonder if Pinays are feeding y'all's lambs, feeding y'all lambs based on age. I don't know, but it's always been 18 to 80 blind, crippled, and crazy to me. I noticed that early on because when I first came over, I knew nothing about the Philippines. I knew nothing. I just heard stories, and it was mostly up in Angeles City, Subic Bay, because I was in the Navy. That's why when I came here, I said, I don't want any of that. I'm going to Cebu. I'd never heard of Cebu before, but I heard of Manila, and I said, well, I'm not going to Manila because I'm thinking that's where all the servicemen are and all the bars and stuff. But I knew nothing about the Philippines. But once I started living here and being on the dating sites and meeting other couples and listening to Filipinos, really listening, we're sitting around talking. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. You know, with the dating sites. You know, these aren't typical women that you would meet on the street. You know, we're getting a whole different experience with a Filipino that we meet online than the locals are, and they're meeting in school, college, at work, and stuff like that. Now, is it changing? I would say it is. I would say it is. You know, because a lot of times, from what I'm seeing over here, it's the women that be the aggressors with the locals. I'm saying you see, like, because women mature faster than us. Okay, a 16-year-old woman, a young girl is a whole lot more mature than a 16-year-old boy, and you can see it. They're the ones who are spurring on these relationships. We'll be walking through the park, and man, they be over there, you know, way in the corner somewhere in the shade. Okay, same as when they 20s and stuff like that. Yeah, older guys can stay around. That's right. but it's always been 18 to 80. Because when you get over here and you start, you know, community engagement and you start going around people and seeing where they live, seeing where they come from, and everything like that, it makes sense to you. It's like, oh, okay, look at where, I see why she don't care how old somebody is. Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna, treat me good? You know, as long as you don't mistreat me, it really doesn't matter. And then if you're a decent human being and y'all together long enough, real feelings are gonna develop. But the guys that are in the delusion, they're just looking what they see on the screen. They're not over here, man. I've been to the province, man. I've seen some really, man, crazy stuff in my eyes. And I grew up poor in America, but I've really seen some stuff. But the women are beautiful. Okay, listen to this, man, because I gotta get off of here. We gotta go somewhere. When I met the girl in 2009 and I went to the province in northern Mindanao, right? And I bought her father I bought him like a special bottle because it was around Christmas. I bought him like a special bottle of a Tanduay. It was in a fancy bottle. And I bought it in there, him and his friends, they were just sitting around and I gave him that bottle and they said, oh, you're so lucky, you know, talking to the father. And the one guy said, he said, I wish I could be lucky like you. And then the other guy said, yeah, but you don't have a beautiful daughter. And see, it all clicks now when you look back on it. Okay. And I mean, they were good people. It doesn't make us any better because we have more money, guys. This is where we get off track. They got something that money can't buy a lot of times, but they had very little. Okay, so it didn't matter that his daughter, I thought his daughter was 22. He knew she was 18, but it didn't bother him that I was 45. See, I guess they didn't know that the daughter was telling me she's 22. He knew what I meant to their family. Okay, it's just a different world, guys. But you got to get over here and see it. And you can't just look at these videos and stuff. You got to have your own opinion of what's going on over here because you're always going to blame us and say we're not telling you everything. We're leaving stuff out and all of that. Oh, you're sugarcoating it. Well, we're not. I'm not. I'm just telling you my life. I've never met the women. There's good women on their dating site if you know what you're doing. I've never met a scammer on there that I was ever involved with. I've never been scammed over here by a woman. What we call scam. Every woman I've ever met on the dating site were legitimate women. I ended up marrying one. I'm telling you the truth. Most of the guys that you see over here with these attractive women, they're in good marriages, good relationships. They met them online. They're not meeting them anywhere else. They're not walking up to these women out here, man. They'll scare you to death over here, man. These women, they're so young and they're so attractive. You would never, and they're 4 and 5 and 6 together. You would never think to say anything to them. You would be shaking in your boots. So you do the next best thing. You go online. You can break the ice. Okay? You can kind of get an idea of where she's coming from. Now, these younger guys, are they going to the clubs, meeting the girls that way? Yeah, they are. But I'm not going up in no club. Okay, we want the easiest out the way. And the dating site is the easiest out the way. But you better know what you're doing. And that's the problem. We don't know what we're doing. We think all dating sites are the same. All women are the same on here. They're not. You got to know what you're looking at, guys. Hey, thank you, Ted. I'm getting ready to get off here myself, man. We got something to do. Thanks for that super chat. He said, I'm going to have to sign off soon, Cal. Get in touch if you want to interview me sometime about my 18 years in Peru. Hey, Jacob Tanze, can you please put up my email? Reach out to me on my email, Ted. I'll bring you on here as soon as I can. Tuesday. on my next live stream, man. I want to hear that story. We want to hear that story. But yeah, guys, thank excuse me so much for your super chats, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. The good women are online, man. You just gotta know what you're looking at. Okay. There's signs that you're dealing with a real woman, and there's signs that you're dealing with a scam or a bot or something, or even a man. It's the language they use a lot of times. If they say, "Oh, I'm simple, accept me for who I am," and okay, you go more than likely you're dealing with a real woman. If she isn't on the dating site every time you log in, more than likely that's a real Filipino because they don't have the time or the money to be on those dating sites 24 hours a day. They're going to school, they're working, they're doing something, they're out here bonding with their friends. They're not sitting on uh, the dating site waiting for you to come on. Use the filter, man, because you're coming up. You're going to come up in everybody's filter because they have no filters. 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. But you can increase your chances of meeting somebody nice by using a filter. That's why they put it on there. Use it. Your age. Do you want them to have children or not? The religion. They'll give you all them filters you can put in there. But you don't use it. The location. What's up, Roger? I was just talking about you earlier, man. How we met in Dumagetti on the boulevard, and then some other American came in and joined the conversation. I was talking about how Dumagetti has decent people there. There's nothing wrong with Dumagetti. But take care, y'all. Stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see y'all next time. We're gonna hopefully we can have Ted on the next live stream to talk about his Peru experiences. That's another option. The meet and greet, May 31st here in San Carlos City, Carmel's Inn and Restaurant, guys. Don't miss that. If you anywhere around Bacolod, Iloilo, Cebu, even Manila, man, you just 1 hour away on the plane. It's gonna be nice, man. I've got some more of uh the 8,000 mile patches. I'm getting some 8,000 mile club hats made. I forgot to contact the lady again last night. I'll do it today. But take care, y'all.